Welcome back. It's time now to take a look at the top business stories. Big Five building and construction show gets underway. Experts push the cause for green tourism. And we find out about the legal state of Dubai's real estate market. The Asian markets ended mixed. There were similar results across the GCC markets. The UAE bourses ended higher this Monday. The DFM climbed 0.5% to close at 1,711 points. MR Properties continues to climb. The company's shares were up 1.5%. Arab Tech Construction also gained for the second consecutive day. The firm's shares climbed 0.5%. DU gained 1.5%, while Air Arabia was up 0.5%. 94 million shares were traded, valued at 156 million dirhams. The ADX also climbed 0.5% to close at 2,753 points. Abu Dhabi Commercial Bank reserves reversed Sunday's losses to gain 4.5%. Sura Real Estate was up 1.25%, while TACA gained 1.5%. 46 million shares were traded, valued at 94 million dirhams. For an analysis of the markets, we're now joined by Gaurav Kashyap, the head of the DGCX Futures and Options Trading Desk at ACM Middle East DMCC. Welcome to the show again, Gaurav.
Glad to be here, Laura.
Now, the euro witnessed quite a volatile week last week and dropped to 1.34 levels and rallied in closing the week on 1.36 levels. Is it a bit sort of presumptuous to say that we're on an upward trend now?
Well, Laura, you said it absolutely right. We saw the euro going through a very topsy-turvy week last week, and that's, for two main drivers. What we're seeing in the currency markets these days is trading on risk-on sentiments and risk-off sentiments. When there's good news in the markets, we see investors gaining confidence and looking for higher-yielding assets. And, we saw this take place once the Irish bailout package was confirmed. There was a lot of rumor in the market that the Irish PM would, in fact, confirm it, which he did today before trading. That was around the region of 80 billion euros. But, immediately that type of sentiment was capped once on Friday when the Chinese central bank announced that they would be increasing their reserve ratio requirements by 0.5 basis point. Now, what that means is, of course, China's, facing double-digit inflation. They're facing a potential housing bubble in the real estate segment. So this obviously caught those with risk-on sentiments off guard, and as a result, we saw the dollar strengthening. So although we have been seeing the euro strengthening the past 4 days, I think it might be a bit too premature. Looking at the week ahead, we could be expecting to see an interest rate coming from China very soon as the possible U.S. Thanksgiving holiday. So I'd be guarded against, selling the dollar too heavily.
And also in terms of this Irish bailout package, nothing's been really set in stone yet. So we're going to have to sort of wait and see what happens there as well, aren't we?
Absolutely.
And in terms of commodities as well, gold ended at the 1,300 mark and commodities just above the 81 level. What can we expect for the commodities this week?
Well, Laura, similar to the currencies, we're going to see the same type of risk-on, risk-off sentiment dominating the commodity markets. We can expect to see some volatility coming in on Tuesday once we have the U.S. GDP number. Now, surprisingly, the U.S. Inflation reading last week came much weaker than expected. So we might be in for a surprise on the GDP number. And if that happens, we could see some increases in the gold. But technically, we're liking 1330 in the gold. We're seeing that as a good support level. If we see a break of this level, Laura, we could be exposed to between 1280 and 1300 levels. So for those long-term dollar gold bulls, we probably have a bit more waiting room for more opportunities. With regards to the crude, I think 81.50 to 82 levels is a fantastic tech level for long.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for your time again. That's all we've got time for.
Always a pleasure.
The Big Five International Building and Construction Show got underway in Dubai this morning. The 4-day trade fair was inaugurated by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the Vice President and Prime Minister of the UAE and ruler of Dubai. The event plays host to 2,500 exhibitors within the construction industry, where organisers emphasised the positive sentiment of the sector reflected at the show.
There's a real sense of business activity. We have seen a very difficult period for the construction here in the Middle East for the last 2 years. But what we've been beginning to feel over the last 6 months in the run-up to this show is that is beginning to clear. Business is beginning to move into a more solid foundation. We've seen a number of new national groups attending, particularly the likes of Morocco, which have never been here to the show. So we're delighted. There's a real sense of activity as we start the week here at the show.
World Green Tourism Abu Dhabi has brought together business leaders, hotel management companies, as well as tourism authorities, amongst others, in a bid to promote the cause of a green tourism industry. The three-day event, the first of its kind in the region, aims to explore and promote best practices within the sector. Sandra Maguliao reports.
Going green needn't be prohibitively expensive. That's one of the messages speakers aim to convey at the event. Delegates stressed that the value of a responsible business lies in the hands of its commercially minded CEOs and directors.
If you build today a building without a big green initiatives inside and sustainable building, you have to add 20% in order to be a green building who could be certified by the Abu Dhabi Tourism. And banks as well have to understand that this is money invested in the future of the destination, and it's very important as well to release then the necessary funds in order to build the building according to the new rules and regulations. At the end, it should be not only about the bottom line profits, it's all about corporate social responsibility, it's all about being a sustainable developer and to build green buildings.
Another important aspect towards sustainable and responsible tourism development and management is the role that government officials play. Experts say officials need to follow words with actions and assure green tourists about their commitment towards conserving the environment.
Well, first, the tourism authorities have to be involved. They have to really speak to the consumer the right way in order to attract them, because I don't think the green tourist looks at the Middle East as a travel destination, and that starts with the tourism board. And then once the tourism board communicates, the government has to be committed to working with the local operators to create the programs and create an identity for green tourism. And then once that happens, the tourist becomes more interested.
With the who's who of the world's travel and tourism industry present, World Green Tourism is definitely proving that green is indeed the new black. Sandra Merculia, City 7 Business.
The GCC markets had a mixed run today. Let's check in on those numbers now, starting off with the UAE general indexes. Coming up now, let's take a look at the major international currencies against the dirham, followed by the price of oil and the precious metals. After the break, we talked to Michael Lungovich, a partner at Hadaf & Partners, about the legal firm's recently conducted survey on the legal state of Dubai's real estate market.